Hello everybody and welcome back once again to Let's Play Skyrim. It doesn't matter where we left off last time, because today we are not having our usual sort of affair. No, we are leaving the troubles behind us. Markarth has not been the most friendly of places, but today is Christmas Eve, and therefore any troubles, trials and tribulations that we may have suffered in the past can remain there, because now we are focusing on enjoying ourselves today, and more importantly tomorrow. So we have received a letter, we have received word bear with me, there's something I want to check first. I have received word from Winterhold that they are to be holding a Christmas feast. Would you credit that? And it appears to me as if the dead bodies here have been tidied up. No, they haven't. There's apparently somewhere here there is an ash pile, and that ash pile is the body of Thonar. That's what somebody said. Is it true? We'll soon find out. As we just drag this dead body away slightly. To say it's Christmas Eve, moving dead bodies, not really the best of tasks. No, this ash pile's empty. I wonder if there's an ash pile a little bit further up. Because I do vaguely remember seeing Thonar resurrected. I don't know. I don't know. It all happened so quick. Yeah, it was there. We came from down here. It looked as if he was resurrected, and as an as a thrall of some sort, and he died as an ash pile, but empty. Weird. Anyway, forget that. Step outside, shall we? So what was I saying? Yes, we have received word from the College of Winterhold. Tolfdir has sent forth a letter that has reached us here at the inn, and he has stated that he is holding a Christmas feast. The College of Winterhold will be celebrating with lavish food. The students will have a day off. 2 days off, in fact. And they will enjoy each other's company. Eat, drink and be merry. And well, I'll be damned if Belina and I are going to miss out on the festivities. So to celebrate, we have a couple of tasks to do. Starting with heading back.
Traveling in the Reach is dangerous. City of Markarth.
To the place we call home.
No doubt about that. Where do you want to go?
Somewhere far away from this hellhole, actually. Winterhold will do.
Climb and back and we'll be off.
Oh, yes, I have to climb up back. Bear with me. There we go.
Oh, steady.
And there we lie. See, it takes us so long to get back. It's like we're in a time warp continuum. Anyhow, here we are, Winterhold. What more a Christmassy setting do you need?
What does the Dragonborn do once he's summoned by the Greybeards?
Snow. A nice snowy setting. Looks perfectly Christmassy to me. So, as I say, we have a couple of things to do. And the first one involves us getting a couple of odds and ends from the college itself. I always... Wow. Looks to me as if we found a bit of a glitch there. Glitch, perchance? I'd say so. Everywhere is closed and glitched out. And where's Belina? I may have to reload. It's not good. Ah, there's a dragon flying about. Well, what a way to scupper our bloody plans. Lena?
My type of work with
Come. The dragon is just taking a sightseeing tour. He likes to celebrate Christmas with us, maybe. No? No? He wants to kill us, does he? Okay, well, not quite what I had in mind. Wow, that's loud. Turn it down a bit. Nothing like a good dragon attack! Oh! To liven up the show! There we go. Let's go. I bet the residents of the college really look forward to our return, because whenever we do, we seem to get attacked by dragons, and I'm sure they can draw the conclusion that this only happens when I'm around. Yet more work for those poor cleaners. Right, so as I say, a couple of things I just want to sort out here. No, what is in here? What is in here? What is in here? Aha, yes, I take that. And I take a couple of those gold ingots, thank you very much. I'll take some gold ore as well, just for it should do us, that'll do me nicely, thank you so much. And I'm not quite over encumbered, but that'll do. Berlina, if you'd care to
What do you need?
take a wee seat in the chair,
Okay, got it.
take the load off, get into the Christmas spirit of things, eh? I'll be back soon.
Anything else?
No, chill out, it's fine, it's fine. Right, so Elwyn is leaving Berlina behind. Oops. Berlina has been left behind with the rest of the residents of the college to assist with the preparations for the celebrations that will ensue in due course. Meanwhile, Elwyn has something he wants to do. So he's going to head back to Whiterun to accomplish it. Although I'm sure I don't have to go that far afield. I could probably go to what's it called? Not Winterhold, the other W town. Windhelm, yes, Windhelm was probably reasonable. But hell, we'll go to Whiterun just because well, it's our first home and we like it. So whilst I do head back, I'm going to leave you with a story, as is the usual custom when I hike many a mile. And I hope you enjoy this one. It is The Mystery of Talara. So sit back, relax and enjoy as Elwyn heads out to prepare Berlina's Christmas gift. The Mystery of Princess Talara Part 1 by Mira Lykith. Part 1 of the story of the Princess Talara. The year was the Third Era 405. The occasion was the millennial celebration of the founding of the Breton kingdom of Camlorn. Every grand boulevard and narrow alley was strung with gold and purple banners, some plain, some marked with the heraldic symbols of the royal family or the various principalities and dukedoms which were vassals of the king. Musicians played in the plazas great and small, and on every street corner was a new exotic entertainer. Redguard snake charmers, Khajiiti acrobats, magicians of genuine power, and those whose flamboyant skill was equally impressive if largely illusion. The sight that drew most of the male citizens of Camlorn was the March of Beauty. 1,000 comely young women, brightly and provocatively dressed, danced their way down the long, wide main street of the city, from the Temple of Sethiet to the royal palace. The menfolk jostled one another and craned their necks, picking their favourites. It was no secret that they were all prostitutes, and after the march and the flower festival that evening, they would be available for more intimate business. Gina attracted much of the attention, with her tall, curvaceous figure barely covered by strips of silk, and her curls of flaxen hair specked with flower petals. In her late 20s, she wasn't the youngest of the prostitutes, but she was certainly one of the most desirable. It was clear by her demeanour that she was used to lascivious glances, though she was far from jaded at the sight of the city in splendour. Compared to the squalid quarter of Daggerfall where she made her home, Camlorn at the height of celebration seemed so unreal, and yet what was even stranger was how at the same time familiar it all seemed, though she had never been there before. The king's daughter, Lady Julia, rode out of the palace gates and immediately cursed her misfortune. She had completely forgotten about the March of Beauty. The streets were snarled, at a standstill. It would take hours to wait for the march to pass, and she had promised her old nurse Ramka a visit in her house south of the city. Julia thought for a moment, picturing in her mind the arrangement of streets in the city, and devised a shortcut to avoid the main street in the march. For a few minutes she felt very clever as she wound her way through tight curving side streets, but presently she came upon temporary structures, tents and theatres set up for the celebration, and had to improvise a new path. In no time at all she was lost in the city where she had lived all but 5 years of her life. Peering down an alley, she saw a main avenue crowded with the March of Beauty. Hoping that it was the tail end, and desirous not to be lost again, Lady Julia guided her horse towards the festival. She did not see the snake charmer at the mouth of the alley, and when his pet hissed and spread its hood, her charge reared up in fear. The women in the parade gasped and surged back at the sight, but Lady Julia quickly calmed her stallion down. She looked abashed at the spectacle she had caused. "My apologies, ladies," she said, with a mock military salute. "It's all right, madam," said a blonde in silk. "We'll be out of your way in a moment." Julia stared as the march passed her. Looking at that whore had been like looking in a mirror. The same age, and height, and hair, and eyes, and figure, almost exactly. The woman looked back at her, and it seemed as if she was thinking the same thing. And so Gina was. The old witches who sometimes came into Daggerfall had sometimes spoke of doppelgangers, spirits that assumed the guise of their victims and pretended certain death. Yet the experience had not frightened her. It seemed only one more strangely familiar aspect of the alien city. Before the march had danced its way into the palace gates, she had all but forgotten the encounter. The prostitutes crushed into the courtyard as the king himself came to the balcony to greet them. At his side was his chief bodyguard, a battle mage by the look of him. As for the king himself, he was a handsome man of middle age, rather unremarkable, but Gina was awed at the sight of him. A dream, perhaps? Yes, that was it. She could see him as she had dreamt of him, high above her, as he was now, bending now to kiss her. Not a one of lust, as she had experienced before, but one of small fondness, a dutiful kiss. "Dear ladies, you have filled the streets of the great capital of Camlorn with your beauty," cried the king, forcing a silence on the giggling, murmuring assembly. He smiled proudly. His eyes met Gina's, and he stopped, shaken. For an eternity they stayed locked together before his highness recovered and continued his speech. Afterwards, while the women were all en route back to their tents to change into their costumes for the evening, one of the older prostitutes approached Gina. "Did you see how the king looked at you? If you're smart, you'll be the new royal mistress before the celebration ends." "I've seen looks of hunger before, and that wasn't one of them," laughed Gina. I'd wager he thought I was someone else, like that lady who tried to run us over with her horse. She's probably his kin. And he thought she had dressed up like a courtesan and joined the March of Beauty. Can you imagine the scandal? When they arrived at the tents, they were greeted by a stocky, well-dressed young man with a bald pate and a commanding presence of authority. He introduced himself as Lord Strail, ambassador to the Emperor himself and their chief patron. It was Strail who had hired them, on the Emperor's behalf, as a gift to the king and the kingdom of Camlorn. "The March of Beauty is but a precursor to the Flower Festival tonight," he said. Unlike the king, he did not have to yell to be heard. His voice was loud and precise in its natural modulations. "I expect each of you to perform well, and justify the significant expense I've suffered bringing you all the way up here. Now hurry! You must be dressed and in position on Cavalsteer Rock before the sun goes down." The ambassador needn't have worried. The women were all professionals, experts at getting dressed and undressed with none of the time-consuming measures less promiscuous females required. His manservant Norbuth offered his assistance, but found he had little to do. Their costumes were simplicity itself, soft, narrow sheets with a hole for the heads. Not even a belt was required, so the gowns were open at the sides, exposing the frame of their skin. So it was long before the sun had set that the prostitutes turned dancers were at Cavalsteer Rock. It was a great wide promontory facing the sea, and for the occasion of the Festival of Flowers a large circle of unlit torches and covered baskets had been arranged. As early as they were, a crowd of spectators had already arrived. The women gathered in the centre of the circle and waited until it was time. Gina watched the crowds as it grew, and was not surprised when she saw the lady from the march approaching, hand in hand with a very old, very short, white-haired woman. The old woman was distracted, pointing out islands out at sea. The blonde lady seemed nervous, unsure of what to say. Gina was used to dealing with uneasy clients and spoke first. "Good to see you again, madam. I am Gina of Daggerfall." "I'm glad you bear me no ill will because of the horse, the lady laughed, somewhat relieved. "I am Lady Gilia Reyes, daughter of the king." "I always thought that daughters of kings were called princess," smiled Gina. "In Camlorn, only when they are heirs to the throne. I have a younger brother from my father's new wife whom he favours," Gilia replied. She felt her head swim. It was madness, speaking to a common prostitute, talking of family politics so intimately. "Relative to that subject, I must ask you something very peculiar. Have you ever heard of the Princess of Talara?" Gina thought a moment. "The name sounds somewhat familiar." "Why would I have?" "I don't know. It was a name I just thought you might recognise," sighed Lady Gilia. "Have you been to Camlorn before?" "If I did, it was when I was very young," said Gina, and suddenly she felt it was her turn to be trusting. Something about the Lady Gilia's friendly and forthcoming manner touched her. "To be honest, I don't remember anything at all of my childhood before I was 9 or 10. Perhaps I was here with my parents, whoever they were, when I was a little girl. I tell you, I think perhaps I was. I don't recall ever being here before, but everything I've seen, the city, you, the king himself, all seem like I've been here before, long ago." Lady Gilia gasped and took a step back. She gripped the old woman, who had been looking out to sea and murmuring by the hand. The elderly creature looked at Gilia, surprised, and then turned to Gina. Her ancient half-blind eyes sparkled with recognition, and she made a sound like a grunt of surprise. Gina also jumped. If the king had seemed like something out of a half-forgotten dream, this woman was someone she knew, as clear and yet indistinct as a guardian spirit. I apologise," stammered Lady Gilia. "This is my childhood nursemaid, Ramka." "It's her!" the old woman cried, wild-eyed. She tried to run forward, arms outstretched, but Gilia held her back. Gina felt strangely naked and pulled her robe against her body. "No, you're wrong," Lady Gilia whispered to Ramka, holding the old woman tightly. "The Princess Talara is dead, you know that. I shouldn't have brought you here. I'll take you back home." She turned back to Gina, her eyes welling with tears. "The entire royal family of Camlorn was assassinated over 20 years ago. My father was Duke of Aloyne, the king's brother, and so he inherited the crown. I'm sorry to have bothered you. Good night." Gina gazed after Lady Julia and the old nurse as they disappeared into the crowd, but she had little time to consider all she had heard. The sun was setting, and it was time for the flower festival. 12 young men emerged from the darkness wearing only loincloths and masks, and lit the torches. The moment the fire blazed, Gina and all the rest of the dancers rushed to the baskets, pulling out blossoms and vines by the handful. At first, the women danced with one another, sprinkling petals to the wind. The crowd then joined in as the music swelled. It was a mad, beautiful chaos. Gina leapt and swooned like a wild forest nymph. Then, without warning, she felt rough hands grip her from behind and push her. She was falling before she understood it. The moment the realization hit, she was closer to the bottom of the 100-foot-tall cliff than she was to the top. She flailed out her arms and grasped at the cliff wall. Her fingers raked against the stone and her flesh tore, but she found grip and held it. For a moment she stayed there, breathing hard. Then she began to scream. The music and the festival were too loud up above. No one could hear her. She could scarcely hear herself. Below her the surf crashed. Every bone in her body would snap if she fell. She closed her eyes and a vision came. A man was standing below her, a king of great wisdom, great compassion, looking up, smiling.
Smile on you, friend.
A little girl, golden-haired, mischievous, her best friend and cousin, clung to the rock beside her. The secret of falling is making your body go limp, and with luck, you won't get hurt, the girl said. She nodded, remembering who she was. 8 years of darkness lifted. She released her grip and let herself fall, like a leaf, into the water below. Okay, so there you go. As you just seen, a gold diamond ring forged by Elwyn's very own hand, with her name engraved inside. No sloppy messages. Just a keepsake, a memento for her to remember us by should we become parted for whatever reason.
I can take you to any of the hold capitals. Where do you want to go?
Winterhold, please.
Climb and back and we'll be off.
Thank you. Why Whiterun?
Ready to go yet?
Well, we have friends here.
Giddy up there.
We popped into the inn, told them of our latest exploits. Maybe slightly missing out the part where we were in prison for murder, although it wasn't our fault, of course. They were glad to see us, shared a drink or two, give each other Christmas greetings, and now we set off. So here we are once again, in the wintry setting of Winterhold, funnily enough. So we make our way back towards the College of Winterhold, the place where we feel most at home, that makes us feel warm inside whenever we return. Ring in pocket, smile on face, looking forward to tomorrow's festivities. How will Brilliant react to her present? And of course there's the feast to look forward to. A variety of meats, fishes, fruits and vegetables, fit for a king. The ale, wine, mead and whatever else you can drink shall be flowing from the table. All prepared by Tolfdir and his many assistants. We shall enjoy ourselves, enjoy the company of our friends and, well, as good as family now. Because that's what Christmas is all about. It's about enjoying not only the food, the drink, the gifts you may receive, but of course enjoying the company of family and friends and giving thanks for what you have. And in this humdrum whistle-stop tour that we are getting of the variety of trials and tribulations that Elwyn has suffered, I'm sure that in particular taking a moment out to appreciate what he does have and almost letting his hair down for a day or two should be a welcome boon to his morale. I hope you guys enjoy your Christmases, because I know Elwyn will enjoy his. And I hope you join me next time for when we continue with the hard work that we will be no doubt enduring. So, I'll see you soon.